Living with a chronic illness isn't always about warrior metaphors and beating the odds. Sometimes it's just about figuring out how to exist when your body feels like a glitchy operating system. This podcast explores the messy middle ground of disability, the grief of the former self, the absurdity of medical gaslighting, and the dark humor found in the waiting room. Today, I have a very special guest, and I'm so excited to have her here. It's the badass with a badass, the one, the only. Hello, Liv. What's up, girl? I'm so excited.
I didn't know I was going to get that kind of intro. Oh my goodness. That was so sweet.
I had to write that because I was thinking back to when I did some of the workouts with you.
Huh?
And you were working our asses out hard.
The ass is my favorite. Like, if you're not working your booty, then why are we here?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, you know what, though? I've been thinking about that recently. I've been on this whole weight loss journey since last August.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking in the mirror the other day and I'm like, I've lost all this weight. I've lost 68 pounds. I feel so good in my skin again, but I have no butt. It's like flat. There's no butt there. And I was like, shit, I need to start doing this stuff again.
Girl, the lunges, the curtsies, the Bulgarian, they're all there for you anytime you need them. You just a little bit at a time. Just add them back in. You'll have your booty back in no time.
I know. I was so focused on that. Stop eating so much, stop eating all the snacks, stop drinking my calories, and start moving my butt more and getting cardio. And that's all I was focusing on. And now I'm like,
and those are great focuses, those are great to get into alignment, how you want to feel, and then add in the juice, right?
Yep.
So you're on the exact right track.
Good.
Girl, you're on the exact right track. It's totally okay. Yeah.
Good, because I'm looking at my muscles going, do I have any?
Yeah. Definitely get that muscle going, girl. Pump it up.
So I need you to just keep posting stories because it motivates me. And every time I see you, I'm like, okay, I got to do this again. I got to get in there.
You got it. I will keep posting my ass on my stories. Perfect.
Yes. So, okay. For people that don't know who you are, because you're more than just the badass with a badass, do you mind starting out by telling us a little bit of your backstory, a little bit about who Liv Loo is?
Yes. I guess I'll give my whole spiel. So I'm Liv Loo, owner of MoveToLiv. I create adaptable movement for the chronically badass. My purpose and my goal is to always create safe environments for people to sink into a movement practice that honors their goals, but also honors the invisible experience that they have, whether that be chronic illness, autoimmune conditions, mental health hurdles, so on and so forth. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis at age 4. I guess that's juvenile idiopathic, but that is such a mouthful. I'm like, it's all right, honey. It's whatever.
Exactly.
So I was diagnosed at 4 years old, and then I was diagnosed with uveitis, which is less heard of. I always tell people it's arthritis in the eyeball. Not exactly it, but that's essentially some inflammation in the eye when I was 8. And so growing up with that gave me just a lot of empathy and a scope on movement that I feel is unique to me. And just it helped me get into the mindset that movement is so powerful and it's a way to tap into your pain and how pain can become power. And that's it. That's me. Yeah, I live in San Francisco. I run my business from my home. I have a sweet studio that I'm so grateful to have here in this city. Yeah, and you and I met, oh my gosh, years and years ago because we all hopped onto Instagram to feel less alone. And there was a time where I did a lot of advocacy videos and injection videos because I am on a biologic injection. And that really introduced me to you and Allie and all these other queens. And I'm just so grateful.
Me too. And I didn't think that it would go where it has gone doing it all these years. I don't know about you. And it has been interesting to just kind of watch how we all fluctuate. And sometimes we kind of change how we post and what we post about. But a lot of that, I think, has to do with our disease activity, where it's at, what our medications are. I mean, it's just, it's kind of like that ongoing roller coaster all the time. We're always changing. So where do you feel like that's evolved for you over the years? Have you been able to stay with the same medication? Have you changed a lot? What's been working for you?
I love that you're saying it all kind of depends on where we are in our journey, because I know I don't really post anymore. I've kind of decentered my RA in a way, and I owe that to Enbrel. I've been on the same biologic, fortunately, for 19 years. That's a long time to be on the same medication. And I am so blessed and so lucky to be able to say that the same medication has worked for me. Obviously, I still have flare-ups. I still go through bouts here and there. There has been questions regarding my eye, whether or not I should switch to Humira or other medications, but it never got so bad that they nudged me over the edge. So yeah, it's really worked for me, but it's not just the medication. It's also how I show up in life. And that's why I'm so glad, the subject we're talking about today I feel like it really resonates with where I'm at in my journey. And as far as decentering my RA, and it's a part of my big scope, but I've kind of taken it out of the limelight. I've taken it out of the spotlight, I should say, and kind of put it up into my little, my little collection of things that make me me.
Right.
Yeah. So my movement practice is a huge part of why the Emerald is still working as well. Strength training and mobility training is just paramount into the complementary medicine that I've been doing. So
I love your word choices. I think you described it so well.
Thank you.
To be on a medication for 19 years, that's incredible. The longest one I was on Otezla for 7 years. I've been on methotrexate off and on since 2012. They just kind of bring it back every once in a while when I start to kind of have extra disease activity. In fact, I saw my rheumatologist, I think it was a week ago, and he's adding it back in. So I'm like, oh, yay, I get to do shots again.
Methotrexate!
Yay! Yeah, just in time I know. I'm like, ooh, just in time for fall and winter. I get to be on 2 medications that lower my immune system. Yay! Yeah, I know.
Don't laugh, you cry.
I'm actually waiting to take it. I'm not taking it yet. My grandson's coming to visit. We're picking him up next weekend, and we're going to have him for a week and a half. And I'm like, he's 5. He's going to break germs, and he's going to be doing things, and no.
See, I love that you say that, because I think a lot of people don't know, who haven't been doing this for as long, or maybe newly diagnosed. They don't always know that they have a choice like that. And the power over your own medication. Yes, a lot of us are dependent on the medication, but we're not locked in. And you know your body better than anyone. So you know that you can say, I am actually going to start in 2 weeks instead of right now, like my doctor says I should or can.
Right.
I think that's brilliant. I think it's smart, and it's a way to harness control in a very uncontrollable area of our life.
Exactly. And I look at it this way. They tell us to pause our medications anyway when we get sick or get an infection or have surgery. And so I'm looking at it the same way. If my grandson's coming to visit, it's okay if I stop taking my medicine for a little while. It's going to give me that extra chance of hopefully not getting nasty sick, or if we're going somewhere and I'm going to be flying, what can I do to try to make that easier? And sometimes it's skipping a medicine and paying for it later. And, we do what we got to do. We do what we think works best for our individual circumstances.
Absolutely. I love that.
Okay. So we're going to get on to the actual real questions now. So I sent these ahead of time so you could kind of debate over them. But first one I wanted to start with is...
Buddy, Nunchuck is looking to howl. You don't need to howl, Babaz.
The extra pressure it gives us too.
So the first part, my question is, did society label us as warriors, or did we?
I think it's both.
I think it is both. I think there's a lot of nuance here, and there's 2 sides of the coin, right? So obviously what I think is really sweet about labeling or utilizing the word warrior when it comes to people with disabilities and chronic illness and so on and so forth is that there are so many times where we have to cancel plans, or we can't do this, or we choose not to do that, or we have to hold back. And that can often be seen to people who don't know better as they seem weak or they're not strong. But when you call us warriors, you're seeing us in our strength. You're lifting us up and being yes, you are faced with all of this, and yet you still show up, and yet you have a smile on your face, and yet. So I do think it's so beautiful and wonderful, and it's a great word. It's been one of my favorite words within the community. At the same time, I think, to the second question of what kind of, I forget what the word you use, but
hidden pressures.
It's you're so strong. And you're like, no, I feel like I just got ran over by 10 trucks. It's kind of, it's like it can lean into toxic positivity in moments. How is anybody supposed to fucking know? I don't know. We don't even know sometimes. But yeah, sometimes it can be the pressure of this is a constant in our lives. So yeah, I'm a warrior.
Yeah. And we're doing it because we have no other choice.
Yeah. And so sometimes the better answer or the better thing to do as an advocate or supporter is to not do anything at all and just like see that I'm normal too. And, use action instead of words, play with love languages, not just center on the verbiage of like, you're a warrior, you're so strong, you can do it, you can do it. It's like, just shut up and feed me. Please, please.
Yeah. Just show up and give me some dinner, bring me a coffee or whatever.
Yeah. Or just say, I see you.
Yeah. Want some company?
You don't have to label what is happening for me. You can simply just see me because it is so nuanced. And I think sometimes when people want to label or want to give those encouraging words, they're almost wanting to fix the mood when there's nothing to be fixed. So it's so beautifully intentioned, especially when people are labeling themselves as warriors.
I don't think I
But
could have
it's
said
hard.
it. I don't think I could say it any better than you. I find it
Yeah.
interesting because depending who we speak with, different people feel different about the word choices. Some people, they want to be called a warrior. They take it as a compliment. They're like, yeah, heck yeah, I'm badass. Compliment
Like,
me all you
oh,
want. And then other
yeah.
people are like, no, I'm not a warrior. I'm just trying to live. And
Mhm.
it's just about taking the time to be respectful. And we can even ask people, is this something that bothers you? Because
Yeah,
if it
or
bothers
what way,
you, do it.
yeah, or like, what is the way that you like to receive support?
Mm-hmm.
What would you like? Would you like just me to listen? And I think this is across the board for all humans. It doesn't matter if you have something going on or what. It's like your friend texts you a novel because they needed to vent.
Mm-hmm.
The next step is to be like, do you need me to go off with feedback or do you need me to just hear you right now?
Exactly.
Sometimes we already know that about our friends and our loved ones, but if you don't, that is just such a great go-to space. It's just ask. Because I
Yeah.
think we all want to know the answer and have the answers for the people we care about and like do the right thing. But we put the pressure on ourselves to have to know what the right thing is. But if we don't actually know, then just ask.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll
Yeah.
even say, I don't have the answers. I'm not even going to pretend to, but
Mhm.
I'm going to listen to you vent all you want.
Yeah.
And I'll be there right along with you. We can bash on whatever this topic is, if it's dealing with prior authorizations or maybe somebody cut you off and almost ran you off the highway. I don't know. Those are bad
Yeah.
examples, but whatever it
They
is,
happen.
they do happen and I might not have the answers, but heck, if you want to complain about the insurance company, I'll complain with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it sounds like if somebody really wants to show up for you, they show up with food. And that's what awesome.
Yeah. Food is love.
For me, it's
Well,
coffee.
oh yeah, that's true. Oh, where is my coffee? Oh my gosh. Oh well, it's gone. Well, and another thought I was having about like kind of the other side of like people who do call themselves warriors. Like let's take like the outside people out of the equation, but it's like, what is it to label yourself as a warrior? And then what does that come with? Because I do see, I mean, you do an incredible job. Allie does an incredible job. Ashley, Nicole, like all these badass people who are constantly posting about symptoms, advocacy groups, all of that. And something I used to do, it kind of does come with the pressure of having to kind of keep up with that, which is doing for others, which is a part of why we flare. And you'll notice, I think most of us will notice that the more we show up for others and the less we show up for ourselves is the more our symptoms come to the forefront. It's also why I stopped posting. I just can't, for me personally, I admire the hell out of all of you and anyone who's continuing to post because I know how much work it takes. I realized with all the just the work that I do because I meet with one-on-one clients, I'm like, I actually am without the capacity to go beyond that anymore. And my symptoms got better. And that's not to say that's the solution for everyone. It's just for me. And so I kind of took that warrior pressure off myself because part of being a warrior for me was speaking out for others and being an example and responding to DM after DM about, injection advice, which I still do. It's just like a much smaller quantity. And that's something that I can handle. And I really love showing up for people in that way still. It's just at a different level and a different capacity. Yeah.
How do you recognize that? Because I think a lot of people don't seem to pay attention to that and realize how it's negatively affecting their health or even their mental health as well. And I definitely have noticed I ebb and flow how often I post. And you can tell when I start to get burned out or if I'm just taking on too much, I'll suddenly just stop. I might post stuff in my stories for a little bit, but I might even stop showing up in my stories too. And that's usually when people get concerned because I'm super quiet. But sometimes
I'm glad they get concerned.
Yeah, we just need the time.
They see you. Yeah.
We just need the time. I can't show up for everybody and be it for everyone, and neither can you. None of us can. It's a burden, and sometimes we don't think of it that way.
Well, and that's the thing. You don't want it to become such a burden. You want it to be part of the passion project. And then once the scale starts to tip and you gotta have the balance of yes, I'm giving, but what is filling my cup every single week when I'm giving out this energy? Because it's not like there's no martyrdom here, right? It's not like, oh, I do this and I exhaust. No, it's just something that happens. Like our exhaustion and our fatigue hits like that. And you're like, you were having so much fun. It was great posting. And then, oh my God.
Yep. Overdid it again.
I didn't realize it because it's just not the average rate at which people get exhausted. So how do you, like, speaking of while we're on this, like, I would love to know how you fill your cup while you are caring so much for your community.
Ooh.
Sorry, that was an unplanned question.
I know, but that's a good question. I do a lot of self-care. I do a lot of self-care. And summers are all about, so every single day, in fact, I'll be doing this as soon as we get off of this recording. I throw on my swimming suit and I go out into my yard and I lay down and I read. And I will probably do that for 2 hours. And this is yeah. So as long as the weather's good, and it's only going to be, yesterday it was 74, so it wasn't that bad. I think it's going to get to 78 today.
That's perfect. Oh my God.
Yeah. I wish I had a pool, but I don't. So sometimes if I'm not reading, I turn on the misters, or I'll take a break from reading and turn on the misters. But I give that to myself as often as I possibly can, because just taking the time to read and dive into a really good, juicy book and kind of just let my brain wander and relax and rest, it fills my cup so much. It really does.
I love that.
And when I'm not doing that, I'm doing like all kinds of like stuff for my skin. I do a lot of skincare. I FaceTime my daughter and my grandson a lot. It's just stuff like that. Sometimes it's the little things that make us feel so good.
It's true. I think sometimes when we get burnt out and we're really over things, we feel like we need like this big vacation or like a big break. But really, all change can be hard on the nervous system. So it's almost like the little morsels that are more consistent are actually more rejuvenating and sustainable for us than saying, I'm going, and then I cut, take a break, and then I'm right back in it. It's like, whoa, you're just getting whiplash. But I just love that. And I'm the same way. I've been reading a lot, and it's just those morsels that really let our brain kind of calm down and let us refocus and then come back to our passion project.
So any good books that you recommend right now?
Girl, I'm on my 17th book of the year. I'm reading Song of Achilles.
Well, I did it as an audiobook. It was good as a book.
Just in the beginning. And my friend, I hope she listens to this. She'll be like, that's me. She described the writing as syrupy sweet. And I was like, stop. It is. It is just that. I've been deep in romantasy for sure. I read the whole ACOTAR series. I read the whole Empyrean, Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx Storm, waiting for the new books to come out. I read Quicksilver. I read, like wolf fae thingies.
So
I'm deep in it, girl.
You like spicy books, right?
I do. I like spicy books, but like with a really solid plot.
Okay. Have you read any books by Megan Quinn?
No.
Okay, I'm going to send you a couple
Do I need to add that? Okay, please do, because this
And she goes into great detail.
perfect.
Can you see why I'm laying out in the sun reading? Because I'm reading all these like romancy summary books, and I'm out in the sun going,
Okay, everybody with a autoimmune, a chronic, whatever you have going on, romanticy heals. Okay, romanticy heals. Men written by women heal. Fucking the patriarchy heals. I'm here for it. There's a reason I'm on my 17th book of the year. I mean, I know a lot of people who've read more, but like, that's a lot for me.
You know, I set out a goal for 25 and I just finished my 27th, but I'm also like, I stopped working a day job. And so I have this extra time. And whenever I go on these road trips to get my grandson, I'm listening to audiobooks. So I'm usually reading a book and listening to a book. And so I'm going like, boom, boom, boom. And so, yeah, I just finished my 27th, but I'm also like an addict.
Yeah, girl. There are worse things to be addicted to. Please.
There are. I always tell my husband, at least, you know, I'm not concentrated on hookers and blow. That's like an ongoing joke in our family. The answer about everything is hookers and blow. You didn't see that one coming, did you?
Let me just put this into perspective for you people. Come on.
So
the hookers are these men in these books, okay? Cassian and Rhysand.
Have you heard of the Game of Things?
No.
Okay. So we have this game, it's called the Game of Things, and everyone has a piece of paper and you're writing down answers to whatever this card is that's written, or sometimes we'll make up our own. And so say I pick up something and I'm like, things you wouldn't say to your mom. And so everybody an answer, and then you'd hand it to me and I write down an answer too, and I'm going to read them all out and you have no idea who wrote them down. And you have to guess everyone but me, the reader. And so it started becoming this joke that a lot of us would write down our answers as hookers and blow. And one time, before my mother-in-law moved in with us, we were playing and she had multiple people say the same answer, hookers and blow, and we're all trying to figure it out. And lo and behold, she was one of them. My sweet, innocent mother-in-law said hookers and blow. So there you go.
Mothers they are mothers and they are other beings too.
Yep. So no, if you ever want to turn somebody off, just say those words.
Hookers and blow. Yeah. What do you want to do tonight? Hookers and blow.
Yeah. My husband calls me up. What do you want for dinner tonight? I don't know. Craving some hookers and blow.
Episode name. Hookers and blow and warriors. The end. Oh my gosh. Very good. Very good.
I'm going to try to back in because we could go so many different directions.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a big one. How do you handle the days when you don't want to fight or even be inspiring, but just want to exist? We've all been there.
How do I do it?
How do you handle it?
How do I handle it? Ooh. You know, relieving myself of the pressure on social media has been a huge part of that. That was the start of me slowing down my posting. There was a while where I was posting for, was it Health Beacon? And sorry if you hear Nunchuck drinking water.
I don't hear anything.
Okay, perfect. You know, there were videos you had to create and they were due by a certain date. And then there was this vibrator company that reached out and they were like, do a video. And at the time I had to email everyone. I was like, Liv, you really have to be honest with yourself and you need to ask for what you need. I said, I need more time. I'm going through X, Y, and Z and I need to post on this date instead of this date. And so it's acknowledging what I need, like saying out loud, what does my body need? What do I need right now without giving a shit about what other people need just for a moment, because we care a lot. We obviously care very much about other people, almost too much sometimes. So there's that. And then being like, can I ask for it? Of course you can, but will I? Am I going to step out of my comfort zone and actually ask for what I need? Whether it's canceling plans, moving a due date, all of that. And that's something I've really been practicing over the last 4 years. I've really finally come into, actually, I'm unable to do this. And here's the other kicker is sometimes I'll want to create an alternative. And I think, sorry, I'm totally going like off a ADHD tangent right now.
That's okay.
Saying no or saying, hey, I'm actually unable to do this. Thank you. Without providing an alternative. It's really hard in the world of people pleasing to not offer the plan B.
Right.
Because it's still taking your energy and you still don't have all of a sudden, like, because you moved it, like means that all of a sudden you have time or energy for it. Absolutely not. So that's just like, tapping into what you need, how long you need it, are you willing to ask for it, and can you present it in a way that actually honors you? More often than not, it's going to be you saying what you want and need, and period.
Yep. Yep.
And that is how I have been able to go about breaking my own people pleasing cycle and breaking that cycle of only focusing on what other people care about, how it's going to make them feel, and turning the attention to what I deserve.
I think that's crucial. And I don't know about you, but when I first started getting asked if I would participate in things, whether it be gifting me with something or offering payment for something, I always wanted to say yes to everything. And it was like, oh my gosh, if I start saying no, will I still get asked?
Right.
And so you're always, when you're diving into this world, it's hard not to get afraid of turning things down. And so it's always like, can I make this work? Can I make this work? And then before you know it, you're overwhelmed. And finally, I had to recognize that if they want me that bad, they're going to give me an extra week. It's okay to ask.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially a lot of these, they already know we have a chronic illness. So why wouldn't they be more open to giving us extra time?
And if they're not, you might not want to work with them anyway.
Exactly. And
it's helping you align with your values almost.
Yeah. And I'll still get DMs from different various companies asking if I want to participate in something. And sometimes I'm like, what? I've gotten a lot for hearing aids. I hear just fine. I'm 46 years old. I hear just fine. In fact,
you're like, whoa.
I have like impeccable hearing, but I read one of them and it was like, even if it's for someone in your house. So I'm like, okay, so basically get my mother-in-law free hearing aids and then I have to make a video about it. And I kind of debated it because I thought, okay, she really needs some hearing aids. But then I'm like, I have to like come up with this idea, have her participate in it, have her be okay with participating in it, be okay with it working. And I was like, no, this is just not the right fit for me. And I want my followers to know that when they come to see something of mine that I'm sharing it because it's something I use, it's something I love, it's something I want to recommend, not something that I'm just like, okay, I'll try to make it work. No.
Right. Yeah. Like if it's not organically something that you're excited about, I've never really understood just being like, cool, this product.
Yeah.
Unless I can't fake excitement.
No, and I don't need a closet full of a bunch of junk I'm never going to use. If it's a heating pad, ice pack, compression wear, yes, all of that I will gladly try out. I will love to see if it works for me. And I would definitely recommend if it does work for me, but be open to being okay with what I have to say. Because if I don't like it, you might want to be okay with me saying that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
no, I mean, it's like I was doing my virtual classes and I was also going through grief. And so all of a sudden, these virtual classes that I felt so excited about, so passionate about, they stopped feeding me in the same way. And I think part of learning to be and learning to fluctuate with yourself and what you need is also acknowledging that something that fed you once may not feed you still. And that doesn't mean that you're any less than or you're not living up to something. It's that it's not serving you. It's the same thing as like, oh, I just can't keep up with my workouts. It's like, no, these workouts aren't fitting you. It's a reframe. And the moment I stopped I was like, first of all, writing the email that said I'm no longer offering these classes took bricks off my shoulder. And then in the next 6 months, I got 7 new private clients. What I was not serving me, I extracted that. And it made space for so much more that actually fed me, that allowed me to be in my purpose in the way I wanted to be. And so, yeah, like to your point of like, I'm not losing any opportunities. It's just, if this is meant for me, it will still be there when I have the energy to do it or when I can actually align with its needs.
Yes. And I loved your virtual workouts. They were so much fun. But at the same time, like, we needed to understand and be respectful of what you needed and why you needed it. And we all still cheer you on and support you. And we're all still excited. And,
I feel so loved.
Because you're an amazing person. You have so much to offer the world. And it's not all about serving us. So
Thank
you
you,
need to take
Jen.
care of you first. Priority is always you. It better always be you. And
Same to you. I mean, I'm just so grateful that we all have this connection and can always keep in touch. Like anytime you send me a voicemail, I'm like, oh, we're just picking back up. It's sweet.
yep, that's
I
just what we
do.
all do.
Yeah, I do think about offering like a one-off class sometimes. I'm like, oh, that sounds fun.
You could.
Maybe.
You could have it
Yeah.
like be a special occasion or something and
Yeah.
offer like ask all your past people to come back for a fun day together,
Yeah, totally.
shaking our
Oh,
asses and doing something. I don't know. Hula hoops.
whatever we want. It's a free for all.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What is a healthier, more realistic alternative to the beating the odds mindset?
Whoa. Okay. Can you, for my brain, can you clarify what beating the odds mindset is? Like, kind of.
So like maybe if I don't know if this is a good example, but maybe an example of like, say you had a doctor that said, okay, so you might not be able to do this someday. You might not be able to lift the weights the way you want to someday. You might be able to not be able to be a fitness coach. So what is a healthier, realistic alternative to thinking about beating the odds on that? Or do you like that?
Ooh, I've honestly never I mean,
I never thought about it either.
I guess obviously done it because doctors have been like, well, stop planking, stop doing push-ups if your wrists hurt. And I'm like, no, are you kidding me? I believe, no, I mean, knowledge is power. I think anyone with a body that speaks a lot more than the average, like our bodies talk a lot. When I mean by talking is I mean pain, communication. Learn more about the body. Take a biology course, take an anatomy and physiology course. If that is not your thing, I love taking classes. I love learning. If that's not your jam, listen to a reputable podcast. I say that with so much force and love. Reputable podcasts by actual doctors and professionals that are vetted. Listen to women's health science. Also, get in with a physical therapist. Our doctors, like I'm taking kind of the lead from like your example of like a doctor because I think that's where we get our odds from, right? Is like doctors telling us what we can and cannot do. Talk to a physical therapist. I say physical therapist over personal trainer because like, yeah, I'm a CPT, but like educationally, PTs are going to know what the hell they're talking about. And a plus would be a PT that also understands chronic conditions. And they can help you understand the mechanics of your body and the mechanics of like how your muscles and tendons work in relation to your bones and your joints and how your body stacks and what you can do to strengthen this or that. Because the reality is like when we have pain in one area, there's so much strengthening we can do in other areas that would actually contribute to the well-being of said joint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because for me, when a doctor's like, "Oh, your wrist has had some flare-ups recently," avoid the planks. To me, what I'm hearing is them kind of like covering their own ass instead of explaining to me, how can I actually strengthen the surrounding muscles to help my joint be stronger? Or what I do in my training is we talk about form, right? Like a simple, in a plank position, I come up, I put my hand in between at the center of the back, like where the traps are, and I go push into my hand. Boom, that plank all of a sudden takes pressure off the wrist. And you're like, what? The doctor's not going to tell you that. So anyway, knowledge is power. Learn more. Get in with movement professionals, physical therapists, occupational therapists, body workers who understand the mechanics of how your body works so that you can decide how to beat your own odds because beating the odds blind is not beating the odds. That's just winging it.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but we can't just wing it when we have arthritis.
No, you need to be able to understand why you're modifying so that when that modification is no longer needed, you can progress forward and then progress back and know when to progress back. Or sorry,
Yes.
modify back.
Yeah. I like your answer.
That's my long answer.
I know, it's got my wheels turning. Okay, I have one last really important question for you. I know. Yeah. The way I'm looking at you.
I'm sorry.
What does broken but still breathing mean to you? Because we've all been there. We've all felt broken.
Like in the times where I've been the most broken.
Up to you how you want to answer. I know. We're sorry.
Jen!
I know.
No, but don't apologize. Don't apologize. No, I think that's a really beautiful question because personally, I've these last 2.5 years have broken me all over again and rebuilt me. You think that you are healed, which you are. We all go through healing. Life is cyclical. So we heal, and then there's a life event or adversity or a flare up or whatever that comes in and just hits us like a tidal wave. And my tita passing hit me like 50 tidal waves, brought up grief that I never processed from when my mom passed, 16 years ago? I don't know the number at this point, but that very thing set me free again. So broken, but still breathing. I'm getting passionate, girl. Broken, but still breathing. What I would say right here today is trusting the process, is like being in it and being broken and being like, yeah, I am at my worst and I am broken. My heart is split. I'm in pain, whatever it is for any person. But fuck, I am still breathing, which means ultimately I will come out the other side and I will be a different person. I have to trust whatever is happening now so that I can trust who I am on the other side.
Oh, I love that. And it actually got me thinking about something. So if we looked at ourselves like we were like a China glass, something that we weren't allowed to touch when we went to visit grandma, something precious in their home, like a China cup or something. Say it got shattered, but we tried to glue it all back together. That was broken, and it's got all that glue holding it together. And as we go through all these things that we deal with in our life, yeah, we've got the glue holding us together, but that doesn't mean we don't feel where those pieces are missing. Those little slivers are gone, and there's no complete repair on that. And so we're always going to feel it. And everyone around us has the same thing. And so I look at people with a different eye now, and I recognize that maybe someone at a grocery store, I'm picking up some milk, and maybe they're not being that friendly, but I don't know what slivers are missing from their life and what glue's holding them together.
Yeah.
And so maybe they're just broken and trying to hold it all together, and they're just still breathing.
Yeah.
We all have something that broke us. We might have many things that broke us.
Yeah. Well, and that's why my practice, for a while, I was like, oh, fitness with chronic illness. And, I changed my slogan so many times. It doesn't really matter. But it is really important that I include people who they don't have to have had an autoimmune condition to be broken or affected in these tumultuous but beautiful ways. It could be a broken leg or like one event that really just took them on a journey. And you talking about like the broken glass, like makes me think of the kintsugi, the like Japanese art of like repairing pottery with gold, like the powdered gold, which I actually did a workshop. It's so beautiful. I actually did a workshop recently, and the way we did it, and obviously like there's like a traditional way, and this is like the same day, workshop where you can do everything in a few hours. But what we did is once the glass broke, you didn't just put the things back together and then put the glue in and then put the gold on. You actually had to sand the edges. We had to spend like quite a bit of time sanding the edges down a little bit so that gold could really shine through. And it's just like such a beautiful analogy of how like it's not that simple. You don't just put the pieces back together and smack it with glue. It takes work. It takes sanding. It takes patience and like whittling away day by day so that by the time all the pieces do come back together, that new piece of pottery, that gold can shine through. The girl, same to you. I felt very exhausted. I got my ass kicked this morning, but you brought me to life. So thank you.
Yay. I'm just so glad you did this with me. Oh my gosh.
Oh, well, thank you for including me. It was just so wonderful. I was telling someone about like how I used to do a lot of interviews and speak out, and I haven't flexed this muscle in a while, and it honestly feels really good. So thank you for letting me like sit in that purpose and like sit in that light today. It was really special.
Thank you. I'm just glad you were willing to do it, and we got to sit down and chat.
Oh yeah.
Well, listeners, thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for the next one, right?
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop.
I'll have her Instagram in the show notes so you can check her out. But yeah, until next time.
Love y'all.